Alrighty, here we are. Alright, gotta be quiet because my roommate's still asleep. It's like 4 in the morning here in Hawaii, so thinking, should I stay on YouTube or go to Twitch? I'm already on YouTube, so I might as well just stay here, I guess. So, yeah. Oh yeah, so no webcam tonight because again, my roommate's asleep. I don't want to wake him up, like loud noise or a light or anything. So just bring my mic a little closer to me so it'll actually pick my voice up. All right, so we have about 5 minutes left. Looks like. So yeah. Not sure who it's gonna be. I mean, I see the chat kind of blowing up, so I mean, it could be Doom Guy, could be Dante. I don't think it's gonna be Waluigi. I mean, he's already an assist trophy, but you never know, I guess. JoJo and Smash, yeah. You can only hope. It is interesting that Sakurai is making, like, 3 with his hands, so it's interesting. I can only speculate still. But yeah, so I'm sure they'll give like a countdown. Once they start the countdown, I'll put it in full screen mode. So actually I'm gonna take a piss first. Alright, back, and yeah, I pulled my microphone out of the stand. That way I could just hold it and actually pick my voice up, so we should be fine. It's also apparently like cable's apparently messing with the touchpad on my keyboard, so should be alright though. It's whatever. Looks like we got about a minute to go. some ASMR type shit right now, but whatever. Here we go.
Hello everyone, I'm Masahiro
Come on.
Sakurai, director of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from Sora Limited.
Piece of shit. Alright, I'm gonna
We'll be
move
using
this.
today's showcase to give you a first look at our next DLC fighter.
Alright, who could it be?
Actually, hardly anyone knows what we'll be announcing today, even among Nintendo staff worldwide.
Oh boy.
The development team and other stakeholders have been working on this fighter with the utmost secrecy. Which means other Nintendo staff around the globe will only start making preparations for release after the showcase has been broadcast. So, it won't be available right away. Please understand that it will take a little time. I think even many
That's fine
Nintendo
by me.
employees will be surprised to see this and say, wow, really? So, let's all share in the fun of getting our hands on the latest information.
What a story, Sakurai.
However, even if you say, that's not the character I was picturing, I hope you don't have any hard feelings. We've prepared a fighter reveal video. Once it starts, I think you'll figure out who it is pretty quickly.
Oh boy.
Now, let's do this.
Here we go. Who is it? Another Fire Emblem character?
The time has finally come to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharas upon our enemies.
Is it really another Fire Emblem character? Yeah, I think it is.
Charging right into an enemy's trap.
Stop this.
As you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void.
Like Sandra Lee
In
Morris?
time, our hearts and minds will cease to be. Are you prepared to die?
It's
I
this
thought
guy,
as
isn't
much.
it?
I also do not wish to die. And yet, there is no other choice.
Yeah, it's Fire Emblem.
You must join Smash.
Of course. Oh,
Join
fuck.
Smash Brothers already! What in the world are you waiting for?
Jesus. Ugh. Oh, damn.
So joining Smash consumes even the darkness itself.
Another sword user. Alright, what's gonna be the gimmick?
So you return, and sooner than expected. I see. Too many swordsmen, are there? And you?
Wait
you
a
wield
minute.
the sword as well?
He's gonna
What
use
will
a
you
different
do?
weapon?
So that is how you plan to win the day? So be it. I reward your cleverness this time.
Oh shit. They do get different weapons.
How is this?
About fucking time. What?
Of anyone, you should be able to
Well.
handle the hero's relics. With Areadbhar, strike with superior reach. Use Amir's overwhelming power.
Jesus.
Unleash the
Alright.
blinding speed of Failnaught.
Failnaught.
Along with the sword of the creator, each weapon matches a direction. Your will and mine be now as one. To you,
Oh boy.
both sides of time are revealed.
more Fire Emblem though, huh? I guess they really weren't prepared shit.
Yes, there you have it. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle. Fire Emblem Three Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll soon be able to play as them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This release is planned for January 28th. You'll have instant access if you have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass, and it will also be available for purchase individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't worry.
Oh, nice, but not required. Thank God, because I haven't played
First
Three
off,
Houses.
what is Fire Emblem? It's really hard to pronounce in Japanese. The producer said it's okay if I just say Fire Emblem. But when writing it, if you don't write Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem police will come and get you, so please be careful.
God.
The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990. You could say it was a pioneer in the genre of tactical role-playing games. You might be wondering what makes it particularly tactical. Well, it's tactical in that it simulates combat.
Well,
You can think
yeah.
of it as moving pieces in a board game. Or in other words, a game in which you advance units across a grid and battle. When we talk about tactical games of that era, there were lots of ones in which you command tanks, aircrafts, and so on. But Fire Emblem was unique because each unit was a specific character, sort of like in role-playing games.
Sure, I suppose.
Plus, something made it stand out from other Nintendo products. Characters could permanently die.
Oh, yeah, that's true
Pretty
too.
direct language though, so perhaps we should just say they're
God.
sleeping with the fishes.
God.
But really, if a character fell in battle, you'd lose that unit. They'd be gone and you couldn't use them again.
Yep.
Recent entries in the series maintain this concept of permadeath to some degree in classic mode and what have you. But a lot of games now allow strategic withdrawals, so to speak. In the older games, your units would really be gone, never to be mentioned again. Scary. The game's stories are told like chronicles of war, with increasingly distinct characters and engrossing scenarios. Several characters also appear in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and 6 of the 7 can use a counterattack. It's their down special.
Jesus.
There's actually a reason for this. When I was considering how to incorporate Fire Emblem fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee, I thought it might be interesting to reflect the turn-based nature of the original game. First comes your opponent's turn. They attack and you counter. Next comes your turn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And now, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the 17th game in the series. People who aren't Japanese in particular might be thinking, 17 games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games.
Oh.
Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge.
Oh God.
I'll give it a try.
Probably like Gaiden. Blazing Blade, Sacred Stones.
There you go, 17.
Jesus.
So, you saw how I was counting in a weird way, right? I was counting in binary.
Oh my God.
This is 0. Fold this here and you get 1, and then you get 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3. So, this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you get 16. Add 1 and you get 17. Awesome, isn't it?
The hell counts in
You can
binary?
actually count up to 31 on one hand.
I can just flip this off.
And if you use both hands, you can count all the way up to 1023. If you've given up counting the knots in a tatami mat, you could always give it a go.
Jeez.
What is Fire Emblem
Oh,
Three
story.
Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main character is called Bereto and the female version is called Beresu, but in English they share the same name, Byleth. Byleth becomes a professor who ends up leading one of 3 academic houses. Once you've chosen a house, you guide them through their school life and, well, you end up fighting the other houses. After a certain incident, 5 years pass, and you meet up with your grown-up students to battle against the other houses in their regions. It's a very sad game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to kill you. To understand the concept of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I played an early version of the game before its release. I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example. Because I couldn't wait until launch to experience it, or we'd have never made it in time. For that title, I borrowed an early version of the game for 2 days, ran around all the areas, saw the ending, and realized for the first time, I guess we can't really have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter.
Probably turn this up a little bit. Yeah, that should work.
I did the same this time, but with there being 3 houses and multiple endings, it was really hard to get a feel for
There
it.
we go. That should work.
And of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference. The game has multiple routes and the outcome of each is very different. Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story. I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope you'll understand. Before my demonstration, I should point out that when I did the Terry Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was recorded a month in advance. But this time, we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming 2 months in advance of this video's release.
Oh, damn.
Right now, it's actually November. Therefore, some of what I'm
Shit.
about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version. As always, I'm using a special in-game camera and such for demonstration purposes. Here I go. So, this is our new fighter, Byleth.
That was weird.
Sadly, they're lacking in mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but that's about all you can say for them. Throws are not their strong point either. Their grab lacks range. But actually, you could say that they're Distance Demon.
Distance Demon.
The hero's relic they use changes depending on the direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon that appears in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. They look like bones, and there's a reason for that. First, let's talk about the weapon Byleth uses for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator. The Sword of the Creator here is Byleth's default weapon. They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as down tilt attacks, where it takes the form of a whip. They also use the sword for dash attacks and other moves.
So it's a sword whip.
For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upward to launch enemies in the air. For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip sword overhead.
The quality of this just like
The
take a
hit deflection
shit.
for this attack lasts for a relatively long
In a
time.
second.
The up special move is really
Full
something.
HD
The
apparently.
sword extends like this, allowing you to do things like this. It was pretty terrifying how I knocked him into the air with that attack. And in addition, you can do awful things like
What
this.
the fuck?
That
Weird.
said, you'll launch opponents upward until their damage reaches a certain percentage.
Huh?
Exceed that percentage and you'll need to be careful. You may find it helpful to mid-air dodge. I've already shown this, but you can also use it to latch onto edges. So that's the up special. Now, for
Interesting.
the sideways inputs. This is Areadbhar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology. First, we'll go through the forward and back air attacks. As you can see, they have a long reach. Like so. Marth's air attack keeps opponents in check too, right? If Byleth does the same thing, you'd win out, so you should be able to beat it. Next, the side smash attack. This also has a long range. It'll connect even from here.
Damn.
Also, if you add an upward tilt, it will be stronger.
Interesting.
And if you've knocked an opponent down, the side attack won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them. By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful. The shaft part is weaker,
Giggity.
so it's not suited to close combat. It won't deal much damage, and it won't launch opponents far. That's why, as a rule, you want to hit with the blade part aimed upward. Or downward in this case. Next, the side special move. Byleth will simply swing the lance like this, but again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll still hit.
Damn.
Actually, you can do a smash attack to charge forward a little, like this.
Interesting.
But as you'd expect, it can be easily shielded, so be careful. Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area. Returning to the side air attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality.
That one's really vertical.
So this complements it well, although you'll be vulnerable when you land. Now, for the downward inputs. For these, Byleth will use an axe called Emir. It's named after a weapon that appears in Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack. It really is strong.
Jesus.
You can try for a meteor effect with this attack. Next is the down smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe back and forth. As you can see, it has a great deal of launch power. And for the down special, Byleth channels all their energy into a devastating strike.
Damn.
It's a bold move, similar to the Falcon Punch, but here's what makes it different. When readying the move, there's a super armor effect,
Yeah, Captain Falcon doesn't have that, but Ganondorf
which allows
does.
you to withstand an attack. Just so you know, if you execute a Falcon Punch at about the same time, it plays out like this.
Jesus.
It's a bit slower than the Falcon Punch, but due to the super armor effect, you have the advantage. Unless you Another notable aspect is that it lets you pass through platforms.
Oh,
While you're charging up, you can breeze past platforms like this to reach a lower
interesting.
area. It won't let you jump, but you could use it as a surprise attack.
Interesting.
Also, you can turn around during the move. The swing takes a while, so if an opponent runs behind you during the move, you can quickly change direction. Even though it can be hard to land a hit with this move, it can be really effective when used against
God damn. Pretty good move.
Plus, even if you fail to land a direct hit, any opponents on the ground nearby will still be launched a little.
Oh, interesting.
It's as if the quaking of the ground launches them. By the way, earlier I talked a little bit about the other Fire Emblem characters' moves.
But they
I
have
don't
counters.
recommend using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters.
Holy
It
shit.
hits with that much power in a single attack. Counters can actually multiply the power of blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you hit by counter after counter.
God damn.
Next, we have the neutral moves. The bow you use is called Failnaught, which shares its name with the bow from the Knights of the Round Table. It only appears in a few neutral moves. You've got the neutral air attack. This attack is similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like him. It lets you spin the weapon around. It's also easy to create certain combos with it. And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It seems pretty
boy.
straightforward, right? But there are a few
But-
noteworthy aspects to this bow. First, the biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed. It's also very powerful.
Interesting.
That said, you can still cancel out of the stance using the shield button. You can also change direction while in the stance. It works up until this point, but if you keep holding the button, you'll unleash
Jesus
a powerful
Christ.
arrow that looks like a beam of light. You can perform this move by keeping the button held down.
It's fucking
You
ridiculous.
charge up power like so. Charge a bit more, and then fire. But again, you'll need to take care when using this move. For one, when you've powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield button. In other words, you're committed to firing it. So you see, a situation like this is pretty terrible. Once you've entered the stance, you won't be able to do anything.
Wow.
Which means it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents. So you need to think carefully when using this projectile weapon.
So are we getting like 2 new
Violet's
stages?
final smash is called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original game, there's a move called Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version. As you can see, you team up with the mysterious Sophist and launch an attack together. Now, let's talk about the color variations. It's set up so that the default and odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female. However, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th colors
the
are, as you can
houses.
see, reminiscent of the house leaders.
Yep.
Those of you who played the original game will of course understand what I'm referring to. The 6th color is
Lynn.
based on Sophis, who you just saw
Sophis.
earlier.
My bad. Oops.
And the 7th and 8th variations have a different hair color, which is based on something that occurs in the course of the original game's story. Didn't we see this variation in the final smash?
Interesting. I see a Pegasus Knight in the background.
Next, I'll introduce the stage. For this one, we of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Areadbhar Monastery. This is how Areadbhar Monastery is laid out in the original game. From these, we chose to have it cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge, and cathedral, all in one stage. It's the type of stage that rotates through different areas, such as these 4.
Okay.
Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these 4 areas.
So it's like Castle Siege then, I guess.
The first area is the marketplace. I think this is where a lot of people come to do their shopping.
What
The
makes you
guests
say
that
that?
appear here are students of the Blue Lion's house, Dimitri, Dedu, and Ingrid. Not Dimitri, Dudu, or Ingrid. Their names are a bit difficult to say.
Doo-doo.
They're largely from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Since it's a kingdom, that means they have a monarchy. For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri is the future king. He had quite a difficult life and may or may not end up with just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one.
Poor soul.
There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of things, but here you can break them, you see. If you do break them, the stage will expand to the left and right. I wonder where people will buy their supplies now.
Walmart.
And in the
eBay.
background, you can see the gatekeeper.
Amazon.
You often pass through this area in Fire Emblem 3 houses, and you end up talking to them a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform.
The
Just when
fuck?
it seems like you've come to a stop,
Huh.
you'll come crashing back down, be broken through the ceiling and slammed into the building. And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles. Take note, it's not spelled Edelgard. They're from the Adrestian Empire. And as such, they embrace their military might. Edelgard is one of the characters who is central to the conflict.
Hmm.
Depending on the path you take, she'll go through some terrible ordeals. You'll notice there are prominent chandeliers above the stage. It's possible to knock them down. However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with other fighters, though.
Ironic.
So, it's nice if you can work your way up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go, I made it. And you can knock it down. Also, you can break this table. Like so.
Yay.
Just like the sign that reads Fudin Kazan in the Suzaku Castle stage, it can break if you launch the opponent into it at close range. Next up, the bridge. The camera rotates 90 degrees, creating this long area. It's very wide indeed. It's similar to the Bridge of Elden stage. The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong to the Leicester Alliance.
Well, those are pretty normal names, I guess.
Because it's an alliance of many noble families, you could say that they have a wide assortment of members. And Claude is the sharpest of the bunch. Incidentally, both Claude and Hilda are the names of characters that appear in Genealogy of the Holy War, the 4th title in the Fire Emblem series. I guess once you've reached the 17th game and are creating 40 characters for each new entry, you're bound to get a bit of name overlap. The naming process must be tough. Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight is busy training.
Why don't they just make a character named Bob or something?
It's just a long pathway,
Or Jeff.
You can expect plenty of blows to be exchanged at the edges of the screen. You could also say it's a place where the Failnaught really shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the Golden Deer perfectly. The last area is the Cathedral, only with some platforms you can pass through. The guests appearing in the Cathedral are Sedith, Flayn, and Rhea. There's Sedith, who appears to have an extremely strong bond with his sister, Flayn. She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities. I feel that Flayn might be saying shush at this point, so I'll leave it at that. This is a simple area of the stage. All it has are these platforms. Being the last area, it may be a place where some intense battles will be waged. It'll cycle through each location in about 2.5 minutes. Okay, today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5 players per side. Alright, here we go, Joker. Joker!
Let me introduce you to the new Joker. Oh my god.
Gee, we really made a lot, huh? Banjo!
Oh my god, what is going
By
on?
now, I think you know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the professor here.
Oh my god.
But as expected, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, so I'm using anything I can get my hands on. It's not going to land that easily. Uh-oh, this is bad.
Uh-oh.
And again. I better keep my distance.
Yeah, fuck that party ball.
Attack. Got him.
Oh shit.
That's scary. He's invincible for a moment here. Lots of explosives. Ouch.
Yikes.
Perfect shielded that, huh? Good one.
Nice.
If I do this, or like so. No anti-air, huh? There.
Damn.
The soccer ball connected.
Oh shit.
Good. There's Mom.
There's Mom.
You're in a good spot, Mom.
Mom.
Ah,
My
I
God.
shouldn't have taken that. Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not.
Ooh.
I feel like the enemy might get this Smash Ball. See? They got it. But I mustn't give up.
Oh,
I can't waste the chance.
Jesus.
There's another Smash Ball. Yes, got it.
Wow.
Now, what are you charging up for?
Oh boy. Damn.
There's still more. Whack.
Whack.
Go on, you can take the hammer, but it's mine.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state.
Nope.
I hit
That's it. Jesus.
I was trying to fight using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
Sakurai is God Gamer.
It can be fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself. The end. Now, about the additional music. Since it's from the Fire Emblem series, we'll be adding each of the new tracks to all the Fire Emblem stages. There are already a lot of Fire Emblem tracks in the game. Our selection this time has been made taking those existing tracks into consideration. 11 songs are being added. This includes an arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and English. I hope you'll enjoy these as well. We're also adding in a new spirit board. It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters. Sothis is Legend class. Also, there's a new Classic Mode route, a Heroic Legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history. The final battle is against Master Hand and Crazy Hand, but you'll find that something pretty amusing happens, so look forward to that. Now for the Mii Fighter costumes. Please take a look.
Of course, there's new Mii Fighter costumes. Let's see what we got. Is that Assassin's Creed? Oh shit. What the fuck? Huh. Interesting. God, rabbits. Jesus. Command X. Oh, X. Thought it was gonna be Vile. But this is also good. Ooh. Nice. Oh shit. A Cuphead me costume? Oh god. Oh shit. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Holy shit. Wow. January 28th. Fuck.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume.
Wow. With a track.
And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation. I hope you enjoy these as well. After purchasing a costume, I recommend using the sharing feature. If someone
Wow.
has created a Mii fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it. And now, onto the amiibo.
Yeah, Richter.
The color palette for Dark Samus looks pretty good, doesn't it? Dark
January
Samus and
17th.
Richter are planned for release on Friday, January 17th.
Definitely getting the Richter amiibo.
And now, with the addition of Violet, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete. The lineup was Joker, Hero, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry Bogard, and Violet. From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there? When we add a new fighter, we don't simply make their attacks or their movements a little different. Instead, we try to offer you a whole new style of play.
Are you okay, Bastard Wolf?
As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but, well, have a look.
Take a break, man. Jesus. Fighters Pass 2? 11? Wow.
Looks like there will be one more fighter than last time. For this reason, we will be releasing the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out. And now that it's official, we intend to move ahead with development. Of course, like last time, the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed.
Do we get another bonus? We get in the Fighters Pass
Like
2?
last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchased it. Furthermore, the new additions have already been decided.
Jesus.
Even if I receive many requests regarding potential candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them.
Wow. Already decided. God
But
damn.
I still hope you'll look forward to it. We're also including a bonus with
There we
Fighters
go.
Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume. But this time, here's what we have.
A Nia costume. Breath of the Wild costume?
It's
Oh
a Mii
shit.
Fighter costume for Mii
Nice.
Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
This will not be for sale individually, so it can only be acquired as part of Fighters Pass Volume 2. It's been reported that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the highest-selling fighting game in the world.
Holy shit.
Personally, I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world.
I mean, the characters fight.
Seems like Street Fighter 2 was in the lead for a while, but now Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales. However, I'm not sure if this is accurate. There were 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, or 6 to 7 if we really want to get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game. It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it comes to a single piece of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is #1. Although, I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely. Also, I feel a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters. The first Fighters Pass just wrapped up, but it was decided that there will be more DLC, which means no breaks for me.
Ah,
I plan to keep working
Shame.
hard, so I hope you can continue to support us.
jeez.
That's it. Thank you.
Guys like work his ass off. Alright, yeah, so another Fire Emblem character, but he's got a bit of a twist with him and her, so goes mad. But yeah, it was interesting. I'd say it was worth getting up at like 3:45 in the morning for, so yeah, so good direct. Me costumes were good too, so surprised I got Cuphead, so unavailable, nice. Alright, well yeah, might be on later today, I don't know. It's 4:40 in the morning here, so I'm gonna shower and get ready for work. More than likely gonna take a nap after work because I'm pretty fucking tired. But yeah, so might be on later with some more Terra Enigma. I don't know. Definitely getting that Richter amiibo when it comes out this Friday. Hopefully they have it at the exchange over here in Pearl Harbor. So yeah, till next time.